Hi everyone, and welcome to this Wishing Alps tour in Disney Dreamlight Valley. Wishing Alps is one of the three larger biomes in Wishblossom Ranch DLC. I have it all fully decorated and I'm excited to share it with you in this video. Wishing Alps consists of, let's call it, 7 main sections. Some of them are more combined than the others, and I have each section decorated in a specific theme. All these areas in Wishblossom Alps are ranging from partially to fully snow-covered. A couple of these areas I have decorated for Christmas because these builds were made around that time. So grab a snack, relax, and enjoy this tour through the Wishing Alps. I'm going to start at the train station, where we arrive for the first time at Wishblossom Ranch. And we have a restored Wishblossom right here in the middle of this plaza. It was part of the Snow White's West Line. I transformed this plaza to be like a Santa's greeting area, with all these gingerbread chairs, Christmas trees, and presents. This section of the map doesn't have the unique name. It is connected with 2 bridges to the main central area of the Wishblossom Ranch, the one with the town square and the main well. So I kept this area separated with its own theme, and it is basically inspired by the movie Polar Express. We have our own locomotive train as a Polar Express, a train station building, and the plaza in front, where all the elves are greeting Santa. And we have a town market with all kinds of different stalls. It is kind of like a European Christmas market with the hot chocolate stands, festive food, crafts, and toys. I love all these new crafting items that we got with Wishblossom Ranch. That includes all these wooden hand-painted items in the traditional style of Central Europe. It is perfect for a charming town type of build like this one. The layout of this area is actually really simple. I kept the 2 main paths leading to the bridges across the river. The middle bridge I extended with the alpine building kit pieces to create this archway leading to the train station, and the side path going to the other bridge, I lined with the horseshoe arches, and it has this winding shape. This path open to some beautiful views on the surrounding landscape. In between these 2 paths, I have the market area split in 2 sections, decorated with market stalls, seating areas, and Christmas decor. I covered the market area with alpine cobblestone path, snowy stones, and the snow-covered foliage. When it rains in the valley, it is snowing here in Wishblossom Ranch. And all other times, the snowflakes from the magical flurry clouds are adding to the festive atmosphere of this area. I don't consider this as a very detailed build. I do have these rock clusters layered on paths, which is extra and not necessary detail. I will have to remove it eventually, and all the other smaller decor pieces as well, because of the current item limit. But this is nothing compared to how we used to decorate paths in the main valley with all the small rocks along the paths and all the smaller foliage items. That style of decorating will not be possible in this DLC, unfortunately. Wishblossom Ranch map is very large, and it is at least 3 times bigger than the regular Dreamlight Valley. while it comes with the same 6,000 item limit for PC, consoles, and Switch 2. Across three larger biomes in Wishblossom Ranch, we actually have 19 smaller individual biomes compared to 8 in the main valley. And some of these 19 areas are actually larger than the ones we get in the main valley or other DLCs. Currently, I have Wishing Alps fully decorated, and I am close to being done with the Glamour Gulch. With these two biomes, I will be at the max item limit, so I basically cannot decorate the Pixie Acres unless I delete most of the smaller decor from all other biomes. I'm coming to the conclusion that the 6,000 item limit is really not enough for Wishblossom Ranch, unless you only using the larger building kit pieces and the larger tree clusters with small amount of medium-sized decor and foliage. You basically can't use any of the individual rock clusters or flowers or smaller items to decorate tables and other surfaces if you're actually planning to decorate the entire map. This main area of the Wishblossom Ranch is dedicated to Arendelle. I transferred Anna and Christoph's house here and used all the alpine building kit pieces to make this town square build. I basically continued the existing town square in this area with the main well that cannot be changed to a different skin. I put all the buildings on a perimeter, and that includes the stables. I covered the whole area with the alpine cobblestone path, which took forever to make enough to be able to cover this large area, even after the recipe was adjusted to use much less resources. It still requires a lot of grinding, especially the pixie dust. For me, it is the hardest resource to collect, because even with the mining bodies, they are not duplicating it most of the time. They are duplicating other mining resources like pyrite and jasper or even coal, but very little of the pixie dust, which you need the most of for a lot of crafting recipes. I tried to use minimal decor here, but I still added some of these snowy stones because I really like how they look when making these winding paths on the grass and adding them on the edges to help blend with the foliage. But I'm probably gonna have to remove them as well because of the item limit. The Wishblossom Ranch DLC is a very short storyline, so the main value of this DLC is to have horses and to decorate these new spaces. This DLC comes with a good amount of new crafting recipes, but not all of them are these large building pieces. I think we should have at least 10,000 item limit to be able to decorate all three biomes. Otherwise, you will be left with these huge empty spaces that you can ride your horse through, but how engaging is that long term really? If you can fully utilize this new space and decorate it the way you want to. The next area is another part of the Wishblossom Ranch that doesn't have a unique name. This is to the left of the Wishblossom Ranch, which is a bit confusing because it is the name of the DLC, but it is also the name of the area in the Wishing Alps biome, which is split into these three sections. So this section I turn into a Renaissance Fairgrounds. This area has a more round shape with three entrances, two of them connecting with the other parts of Wishing Alps biome, and the third one is leading to the bridge connecting to Glamour Gulch. This is the first passage to Glamour Gulch that we unlock when progressing through the map. But you can't see the Glamour Gulch at all when walking through this area because of the mountains surrounding it, which is perfect for this build. I have this part of the build in the middle with the Arendelle wall as a backdrop and a king and queen stage in front. There is one path circling around the area, going through the market and the tavern area behind the wall, and looping back around with more stalls, including the flower stall and the dragon display. This build is decorated with a lot of fantasy and fairycore style items. I also have the fortune teller stand and a snuggling duckling tavern in each back corners. I mainly wanted to use this build to bring all the functional stalls that we can place in each DLC, but make them part of this build. It is honestly very convenient. I can regularly come here to collect all the resources. It's all in one place, and it still looks immersive, like it all belongs here. These fantasy style builds are my favorite to do in Disney Dreamlight Valley right now. Over the past year, we got a lot of this rustic fairycore and cottagecore type of decor, which is so fun to combine and use for these fantasy builds. And quite a lot of the Disney movies are taking place in these romanticized fantasy medieval settings, and the decorating in Disney Dreamlight Valley, making it possible to bring some of it to the game. Next, to continue our way through the Wishing Alps, we need to take the bridge going above the Wishblossom Ranch. This bridge has really beautiful views. You can even see all the way to the Pixie Acres Honey Falls in the distance. And the crystal caverns of the Wish Blossom Heart is always a nice focal point that you can see from pretty much any location on the Wish Blossom Ranch map. I also added the Aurora Borealis item above the Ranch Highlands that looks all white in the distance, but it is actually more blue and green up close. Unfortunately, it is a premium shop item that we can only have one of, and it cannot be ordered from Scrooge, which I think is outrageous. I actually regret buying it from the premium shop, and I think there's absolutely no place for items like this. Any decor item we are buying for real additional money in a premium shop cannot come as a singular in-game item. The next Wishing Alps area is called Silver Summit, and I used it to build the Castle McDuck, the ancestral home of the McDuck family clan in Scotland. To build the castle walls, I used two wall kits from the premium shop, the Arendelle Castle Winter Wall Kit and the Night Castle Wall Bundle. I have speed builds on the channel for each of this area of the Wishing Alps. I will leave the link in the description below if you want to check it out how it was made. I didn't just want to use a castle house skin for this build, but instead build my own and decorate the interior while it's still an outdoor build. It comes with its own limitations. Obviously, I can't use doors, windows, or any of the wall decor, but I was able to come up with some sort of room layout using the stained glass greenhouse pieces and ranch beams. I have here a bedroom, a living space, a throne room, and even a treasure collection, which would be in a dungeon space if we had terraforming in this game. And separated by the wall, I have a great hall with a banquet table. To make this table feast look so bright and festive, I used Mulan's hanging lanterns, the only of the couple ceiling lamps we can use outside. I also added a crafting area near the entrance, which I use all the time. I also have a sidewalk along the castle to access the mining nodes. And the castle itself is centered with a bridge going across the river towards the Ranch Highlands. I decorated the small area in front of the castle, and the river looks like a moat around the castle with the drawbridge. In a small separate area across the bridge, I have the traveling well and a standing stone item to keep it nice and simple. I have Eternity Isle vacuums in every area to regularly collect all the resources. And these two areas, separated by a river, used to require two vacuums. But it was fixed, and now you only need one vacuum to cover the whole Silver Summit. But not all the areas are optimized like that. For example, I counted, and in Wishing Alps, we have 7 separated areas, but you need 11 vacuums to cover all the individual sections to vacuum the entire biome. I try to keep my vacuums nearby the wells, but still after finishing the round of vacuuming, everything respawns back, and all the spawnable items are counting towards the item limit as well, which probably takes a few hundred items with the map this large. Past the bridge that actually goes right above the entrance to the Wishblossom Heart, we arrive at the Ranch Highlands, which looks like the largest single area in the Wishing Alps biome. It is another fully snow covered area like Silver Summit, and I used it to make another frozen theme build that includes Elsa's palace and the Wandering Oaken's trading post and sauna. I see Frozen Palace from the premium shop looks like a pretty close replica of Elsa's castle from the movie, and I paired it with the Midnight Garden gazebos on the back. I can use it to get behind the castle to access a mining node and a cave that is pretty much useless after completing the story. This cave can actually be decorated like all the caves on the map, but with the camera clipping and the item limit, I personally will not be bothered to decorate them. In front of Elsa's castle, I have frozen lakes and waterfalls made with frozen river kit. It frames the path going across the highlands to another more open area where I place the enchanted winter cottage house skin that looks similar to Wandering Oaken's, and I build a barn on the side using ranch beams and other wish blossom items. Across this open area, I have a traveling wheel, and behind it, I made an area inspired by the Valley of the Living Rock, a place in the Frozen movie where trolls live. I tried to make this area look more natural, so it would feel like wandering through the winter forest. And I think with this winding path and strategically placed foliage clusters, this biome area looks even bigger than it is. Would you get lost here? And would you need Kristoff's help to get to the North Mountain to visit Elsa? Going down from the snow covered areas and back to the green grasslands, the next area of the Wishing Alps is called Wishing Way. And to enter it, we are going through the tunnel with the 1937 plaque above it, which referencing the Snow White movie, the date of the creation of the first Disney animated feature film. This area is probably the most fitting for the name Wishing Alps because of its terrain design. The way it is stepping down towards the sea and creating these layers of land with the mountains on the back, making this area perfect for an alpine village nested in the mountains. This area is basically split in three sections, with the third being the smallest. It's on the lower level next to the seashore, and I left it undecorated. It is very nice area for fishing, especially with the sound effects of Wishing Alps. The other two areas are quite large, but very narrow and long. I think they are perfect for a street type of build, but not wide enough to have rows of houses on both sides. This build is another Christmas time build, and it is inspired by Santa's Elves Village, a place where elves live and work. On the top larger area, I made the town street using Scrooge's store and Remy's restaurant by blending them with the rest of the Alpine building kit pieces to make this solid street line like an old European towns. And on the level below, I made the elves' sleeping quarters using the Arendelle city center pieces and making another indoor-outdoor build. On one side of the quarters, I had a little space to add an ice skating rink visited by Belle and Beast. For elves' quarters, I used some of the cutest bunk beds we have in-game to make elves' bedrooms. And they also have a nice outdoor seating with the stunning seaside views. Other notable features of this area is a town hall building and a small Christmas market area on both levels. I once again tried to use the larger decor pieces like building kits and wall pieces to build add-ons and structures, but I still need to add some details and decor elements to fill the build. The stone clusters on the ground can be removed to simplify the build, same as some of the smaller decor items. And if you're curious, you can see how this build was made in the speed build playlist link below. The last part of the Wishing Alps is the Delverdale area, nested above in the mountains. When using the building mode, you can see the Wishblossom Ranch area is located right below it. But from the character's perspective, you can only see a bit of the Wishing Way area, and the rest of the perimeter is surrounded with mountains. On the highest mountain peak, we could notice a castle nested above, but unfortunately, it is only a decoration, a part of the surrounding landscape, and we cannot visit or decorate it, which is unfortunate. From the teasers of Wishblossom Ranch before it came out, it looked like it is going to be one of the places important for the story. But all we can do is use this castle as a backdrop and build a village right below it in this beautiful mountain location, which is what I did. I made this fantasy alpine village that looks like it came straight out of the storybook pages. I moved Snow White's house here and added all the fairy tale looking small cottages that I had, like Painted Rose Cottage and Provincial Library, and a few more. Another noticeable feature of this area is the Crystal Caverns Mountains peak that you can see in the distance. I placed a street line with Snow White's house right in front of it. On one side of this biome, I have a farm area with the Pegasus house, and on the other side, I decorated a corner using a snow ski chalet house and built an outdoor seating area with a fireplace next to it. The middle of the area is decorated with winding paths going around this stone wall surrounded smaller areas decorated with foliage and seating. I wanted it to look like an idyllic fantasy fairycore village that fits the style of Snow White's house. And the little farm can be used to grow Wishblossom Ranch crops here. I especially love how this village looks at sunset. Thank you for joining me for this tour. I hope you like it and it provided some inspiration on how to decorate your Wishblossom Ranch. Or maybe now you know how you don't want to decorate your valley. Anyways, thank you for watching. I also have a full tour of my main valley on the channel if you're interested to check it out. Let me know in the comments what do you think about Wishblossom Ranch, and especially if you like to decorate on this map. Do you agree that the item limit should be raised to at least 10k items? Let me know which of these areas in this tour was your favorite. And which one do you think I should rebuild? If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye everyone!